Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel 5 to 9 Real Estate. I'm your host, Rebecca Young. So this channel is basically all about teaching you how to leverage your income in your 9 to 5 to invest and make money in your 5 to 9. And we just happen to love real estate, so a lot of our content happens to be about that. Today's topic is going to be about Bill 184 and the upcoming changes to the RTA as of September 1st, 2021, the RTA being the Residential Tenancies Act. So I figured that this would be important for all the landlords and the tenants out there. So hope that you guys find this helpful. I'm just gonna hop over to my screen here. Okay, so basically this is just taken directly from the Tribunals Ontario, and basically just all the changes that are coming up as of September 1st, 2021. So basically Bill 184 is the Protecting Tenants and Strengthening Community Housing Act 2020. And the idea behind this was that there seems to be a widening gap between landlords and tenants, and basically this has been further amplified because of COVID, and it's resulted in a big backlog of cases at the Landlord-Tenant Board. So the idea was to make some changes to the RTA so that landlords and tenants that have the ability to resolve issues together would have the freedom to do that. So there's a bunch of noted changes here. So I'm basically just going to walk through the page. The first one is around landlord claims against former tenants. So as it stood before these changes, basically landlords could only make applications for compensation against tenants while they were still at the property. So if a tenant had left, and let's say they left, rent arrears or a bunch of damage to the property, the only option for recourse that a landlord would have would be to take them to small claims court. And as you can imagine, that's a huge energy suck and time suck, and it involves a lot of legal fees. So it's really, you have to weigh out, if that's actually worth pursuing. And the proposed changes are going to be that moving forward, as of September 1st, 2021, landlords are able to still apply through the LTB for certain compensation up to a year after a tenant has vacated the premises. Some examples, basically anything that's considered to be a reasonable out-of-pocket expense. So if you think about rent arrears, or if there's significant damage to the property, landlords still have the ability to take that to the Landlord-Tenant Board. So the next piece I'm going to cover is some tenant claims against landlords. So as it stands right now, if a landlord wants a particular rental property for their own personal use or for some of their family members, they're supposed to issue an N12 notice. If they need to give notice for eviction because they plan to demolish a property or to do significant renovations to the property, they are supposed to issue an N13. If tenants believe this is done in bad faith, they can file a T5 application to the Landlord-Tenant Board. So basically, in short, this says that if these cases are found to be done in bad faith, basically the tenants are eligible to compensation for this up to 12 months of their rent. And the last piece is that for the N13 form in particular, for notice for demolishing a property or the significant repairs, this is actually really important because I find a lot of people don't know this. If you make significant repairs to your property, your tenant still has the right to move back into this property as long as they've given you written notice. So just make sure you are aware of that. There are some, exceptions to be made, basically, where if you needed to raise the rents to cover the cost of a significant renovation, you could also do that, but that's something that has to be done through the board as well. So again, make sure you're aware of this if you're doing a BRRRR strategy and you're looking to fix up a property. The other thing is that if it is done in bad faith and you don't actually demolish or fully renovate that property, and the tenant finds out that you did this in bad faith, they actually have 2 years now to submit an application to Landlord-Tenant Board instead of just 1. So they're really trying to crack down on rent evictions. This paragraph here just seemed to be kind of a repeat of what I mentioned above, with landlords being able to go through the Landlord-Tenant Board instead of having to go through small claims court. So I'm not going to repeat that. And there are a couple other changes for landlords as well, that if you are filing an N12, the expectation moving forward is that you're going to be providing an affidavit while you're submitting the application. And the last change that I want to note here, especially for landlords, is that let's say you issued the N12 and your tenant believes it's in bad faith and they're not leaving. If you issue an L2 eviction application to the Landlord-Tenant Board, the expectation moving forward is that you are submitting an affidavit with the application itself instead of providing it for the hearing. And in similar fashion, for if you are filing an L2 eviction application with the Landlord Tenant Board for either an N12 or an N13, you also must provide details of all your previous N12 or N13 notices given to any tenant for any rental unit in the last 2 years. So as you can see, they're really trying to cut down on rent evictions or evictions done in bad faith. And so those are all the changes that everyone needs to be aware of for September 1st that are going to be implemented as of September 1st, 2021. If anybody has any questions or they want to dig into this further, I would recommend first probably checking out the website that I'm going to leave below, so you can just check out this page for yourselves. And also, if you guys want to leave some comments below the video, if you still have any questions, of course, I'm more than happy to answer those as well. But that's all I have for today. So thank you so much again for your time, everyone, and we'll see you next time.